Whatever.
Dude, I thought about wearing that. I really
Sure
thought
would,
about
man.
wearing it on our next one so that we would match and people would be like, gay?
Looks like you just came back from golfing or something.
No. Hey, this hat is very significant to golf, though. That's the year that golf became an official 18-hole sport.
Do you often wear
Or
the
standardized.
shirt with the collars?
Yeah, I wear a polo to work 95% of the time.
So fresh.
I'm just gonna be super honest. I didn't go to the office today, and I had just the gray V-neck that I wear way too much on here. So I reached in the closet right here and found a
Oh,
nice
you
long
swapped
sleeve.
out for the okay.
Yeah, because I was like, I wear this way too much on there. It's just like super casual, comfortable wear.
Dude, I haven't wore a shirt with a collar probably in like I don't know how many years, for like 10.
I mean, I wear it obviously when I golf, but I wear it, like I said, 95% of the time I go to the office.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I feel like I just have I get it in my head sometimes that I don't like something. Like for me, this is my rationale. To me, when I see them, I think uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's actually even true, but I got it in my head that they're uncomfortable, so I'm just like I'm averse to wearing them. I don't know why.
So I'm the same way, but with different shirts. T-shirts I feel mostly uncomfortable with. As far as like going out and like the fit and everything. And so when I wear like the polos I get, most of them I got from actually a golf subscription. That was like a monthly thing. I think I've talked about it before. It was a monthly thing that I did for a couple years. Almost always had some sort of nice polo, and even their t-shirts were nice and more comfortable. For whatever reason, that style made me feel comfortable. And in the polos, I feel very more comfortable. And then when I put a t-shirt on, I'm like, God, why is this so tight? And like,
That's
it's
what I think
sticking to
about with
me.
those
And
shirts. I always think of those ones being tight,
yeah.
but it's probably just because the ones I've owned have been too tight. But anyways,
Get some ones with your company logo on there.
Oh,
And then you'll
dude,
feel
hell
different.
no. I don't want people seeing my company logo.
Well, I mean, for when you work, when you go and take photos and stuff.
No, because what happens if I get in an argument with one of those fools again, and he's gonna see my company
That's
logo
true.
right on my shirt? All
That's true.
right. So I had a topic for today.
You did, yeah.
Yep, and I was gonna start by kind of summarizing this topic. Have you seen Buffalo 66? Have you seen that movie?
No, never heard of it.
Okay, so Buffalo 66 was directed by a guy named Vincent Gallo. He's like this really weird guy. It has Christina Ricci, I think is how you say her name. And
Christina Ricci, like from
yeah.
from the Casper.
Yes. So it had her in it.
Yeah.
It's an independent movie. He stars in his own movie. Really low budget, made by himself. No studio help. It's really weird because he's a really eccentric guy in real life, but it just for whatever reason it like hit really well. Like people today still kind of talk about it because it's just so different. It's just such a vibe.
Yeah, it's got a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really high for Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is just like, to me, that kind of range is usually a good, like anything is like 100 is like, all right, this is bullshit. Kind of in that, like where people don't like it, that's to me is more interesting because it's like if it alienates some people, but some people like love it, that. Anyways,
it's like most horror movies. Yeah, go on.
Right. So he came out with that. It was a huge hit for him. And then his second movie he followed it up with is called Brown Bunny, and it came out in 2003. Vincent Gallo's like really mouthy guy. Like he talked shit about Christina Ricci after the film. He talked shit about everyone he works with. He's kind of like Trumpian in that way, or like a Kanye West. He's just always like he's called a provocateur. He's just always talking shit. And if you watch Buffalo 66, you'll see it in his performance. You're like, oh wow, this guy's kind of a punk ass. So, anyways, he did his second movie, Brown Bunny, and that one came out, and people hated it, like unanimously hated it. It was like too long, like there's not like a real plot to it. He did Buffalo 66, but like more intense and with less interest to other people. Anyways, okay, so it came out, it was panned, he was pissed. One of the the point I'm trying to make here is that Roger Ebert, you know Ebert?
Yeah.
Ebert proclaimed it the worst film in the history of the Cannes Film Festival.
Ouch.
And then Vincent Gallo fired back and said he hoped that Roger Ebert would get colon cancer.
Oh.
So, and then after that, Roger Ebert did end up getting cancer. He got jaw cancer. So he said Vincent Gallo's curse hit him, and it got him in the wrong spot. And then they reconciled, and Vincent Gallo apologized. He was just very emotional at the time. But yeah, that's like a very noteworthy feud in the film business, and the reason I bring it up is because he basically cursed Roger Ebert. He was so emotional that he said he wished that he got colon cancer, which is wild.
Well, my first thought on that is that the fact that they reconciled and he apologized, to me, kind of like, maybe not, but it makes it's like maybe you didn't really ever mean it, because if you really did mean it, maybe when he did get cancer, you'd come out and you'd be like, yeah, good, that's what he deserves. It's what I wanted. Got what I wanted. And he's already a character, right? So
with that, then you look at fast forward in time, right? So we have that. Fast forward in time, Trump and what was his name, Mueller? Didn't Mueller just die? The guy that was investigating Trump and all
the
that?
one that, yeah.
Was his name Robert Mueller? And what did Trump say about Robert Mueller? He said, I'm glad he's dead.
I heard that was fake news.
No, it was a Truth Social.
Yeah, I thought it was photoshopped.
No.
Because then later I saw a nicer one, which that could have been photoshopped. Who knows? You can't
He said, I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump.
So anyways.
Well, that's not wishing ill on somebody. That's just celebrating their death.
Yes, but I think it's kind of in line with cursing in general.
I'm definitely also not condoning anything. I thought something. Sorry, go ahead.
So we went and visited the restaurant of the people that I know who are having a hard time.
That's right.
We talked to them after everything, and we talked to the owner for like 3 hours.
That's because
she just was like so sad about everything that happened, and she was really enjoying having someone to talk to. We were boosting her mood. It was making her feel like connected. She said something really bizarre though near the end of the talk. She was talking about my wife's business, and she said, I hope I wake up tomorrow and I see your business posted on Facebook with something like this. And we just kind of went,
say that?
What? No.
Yeah.
What?
It's not like you were there shitting on them.
No. It's this idea. These are I guess all separate instances of what I regard as cursing people. I guess Vincent Gallo responded because he was emotional and upset that Roger Ebert dissed on his, thing that he'd worked so hard on, and he wanted retaliation. Trump similarly is like super thin-skinned, and granted, he has good reason. Mueller did fucking bother the shit out of him, but you should never wish or be happy or celebrate someone's death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, it's not, it's not spiritually like clean. It creates a weight, I think. And then
Yeah, I
with
think
this, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say when you say stuff like that, I mean, there's been many times where probably I've even said something like that, but immediately I go, no, I don't really mean that because I really don't
Yeah,
to an
because
extent.
you carry the weight of that with you when you say
Hmm.
something. And then this lady, I think she said it because she wanted to have someone else experiencing the same misery that she was experiencing, so she didn't feel so singled out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she probably
She
didn't mean it as
she meant
such a
something.
negative thing.
No, but she
Yeah,
meant
agreed,
something.
agreed.
It meant something. You don't just say shit like that. And that's what it's like. What exactly? Where was that coming from? You know, it.
Yeah, because that's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Like you said, maybe not. But no, like misery loves company, and when you're miserable, you want someone else to be miserable so that you can be miserable with that person. It makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. I
Ugh,
think
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe for her,
for some people, I
that's
don't
awful.
don't
Yeah.
understand it at all. Um. Okay,
So,
and then
but I think
yeah,
there
go
are.
ahead.
Okay, sorry. I know you
No,
have
no,
a
no.
point to make, and I
Go ahead.
don't want to ruin it. So go ahead. I'll write my stuff down so I don't forget.
I don't have a huge point. I had one more instance that happened in yesterday. I got a call
Good.
from a
Give me the
family.
instance. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a call from a family member. We have this guy in our family who's kind of gets taken care of. He's like always having problems on different assistances, been on drugs, has seizures, just kind of like a messed up dude. His father has terminal cancer. This older father has terminal cancer. This guy, the messed up guy, came over to pick something up from my family's house, and he said, "Oh, my dad's at home dying," and then he went, "Yes," and then everybody went,
Whoa,
and then he went, "I get all the guns when he dies."
that's so weird.
So weird. That's what I said. I'm like, I try to rationalize. I'm like, why was it he hurt or? And then they kind of just end up saying, I just think he's a really selfish guy. I think he just is really, and I just can't wrap my mind around it. Like that's your dad, and you pumped your fist when you found out he was. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's some that normal people wouldn't say that. Normal people wouldn't do that. I
Yeah.
know. I remember when I was. I mean, I'm like call me 8 or something. Maybe if not even that. But my dad had always had these swords hanging up on the wall, and they were like just a perfect 3 set of swords. And I loved them, and I said, "When you die, can I have those?" And my dad, he like started laughing because he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I
Gonna
mean,
die soon.
maybe I don't know.
While you're already
But that's
planning it.
actually kind of funny to realize that things at such a young age. And I don't know, maybe that's something I'd heard from somebody else
You know
before.
what though? People
But
do that. People,
that's a
adults
nasty.
think that shit. Adults think that shit, and they start planning the will well ahead of their family member dying. And I can't even imagine that. They start planning what they
No,
want
that's it's
from their.
gross. It's very gross.
It happens all the time though, and it's like I don't know, just shocking to me.
Yeah, I have a lot of siblings, so you know, unfortunately, like all of us, someday something's gonna happen, and somebody in my family, whether it's me, my parents, my one of my siblings, someone's gonna go, and somebody's gonna have to execute that will, and and I can see some people. I don't know. My family's mostly really close knit, and it should be fine. But then nothing surprises me anymore. But my point to that is not necessarily my family, but more so like that happens all the time.
Yeah,
Like how people somebody dies and they fight over things in the will, and it's like really disgusting.
it's an entitlement, and I think there's two separate ways, or a combination of two ways that happens. Sometimes it's just genuinely like really greedy and don't care about the deceased party, or it's like you care a lot about the deceased party, but then you're fighting with your siblings and other family members because you feel like you're more entitled than they are. Like, I was a better son, so I deserve this shit. Like, it becomes
Yeah.
intertwined with your feelings for the deceased person, which to me makes a little more sense because at least it's confused, but it's coming from a deep compassion and pain that you're feeling, as opposed to a feeling of nothing and just like I can't wait to get all this shit when they die, which to me is like
Yeah, that's wild.
that I don't get.
Yeah, it's super gross. I actually have a text from my dad, and he's like, "Save this because." So you know my dad. He's you know obviously like super outdoorsman and everything, but he's also pretty like spiritual in a sense where he has this knife that I have used before. It's like his favorite knife. It's freaking awesome. And he took a picture of it and he says, "Save this because when I go, I want you to have this knife because I believe in the transference of energy. And
Wow.
I know that when you use this, you'll feel my energy." Oh my god, dude! I just like was like, "Oh my god, stop! Just stop!"
That's really sweet though.
Like, yeah, that stuff really gets to me because I'm pretty sensitive and sentimental to that stuff, and just thinking about even that day is more trauma. It's like one of the most gonna end up being one of the most traumatizing days of my life, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I can't even imagine. I try not to think about that, but what you
Yeah, I
just
try not
said,
to think about it too. Go on.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I try not to think about it either.
The what you just said about the transference of energies and things like the positive transference of energies, that kind of loops me back into the whole curses thing because it's like, there
Hmm.
I guess there's multiple types of like wishing like sometimes you wish it and you feel like you have no like ability to affect things on other people, like you just hope that like karma catches up with them or something. You feel like they deserve bad karma for whatever reason, and so you're
Hmm.
hoping that that is what ends up um kind of catching up with them or whatever. But I don't know, like the idea of negative intention towards another person is just I think there's a lot of it out there right now. I think that's what I think of as curses. Negative intent. You don't have to physically or expressly say, I curse you, but you just think about someone with um, that idea in your head of like, you don't deserve shit. You're a piece of shit. You just like, if you think about that, that's the same, that's gotta be the same thing as a curse.
No, totally. But on the flip side, you also have, a lot of people consider the power of prayer just as
Mm.
effective. Um, but I think those same people are the same ones that would never want to curse somebody. However, I do think that they're not curse, but it's like there are instances where maybe this is warranted. Like, for instance, the people you had sat down with for 3 hours, they're having a hard time on some like social media stuff that happened with their restaurant. If you sat there and you were shitting on them and being like, well, I think maybe you should have done this and you did deserve this and da da da. It's one thing then for her comment to be like, well, I hope someday you understand and you go through this.
Maybe that's what she was saying because I did give her a ton of advice. Maybe she was like, shut the fuck
so
up.
so like bad advice. She might have thought it was bad advice.
I think it was good advice. I was like, keep your fucking husband off the internet, or keep your husband off. Don't let him
Oh, so maybe
watch
that's
him. Don't
why.
let him be conducting interviews of people without you because he doesn't control his mouth, and that's what caused the problem. And you
You said
guys
this?
also get too, yeah. And I say you guys get too close to your employees. I mean, it's all like obvious shit to me. Yeah, maybe she thought I was
Yeah,
acting
I
too
think
smart, but it's like
I think what you said was good because and maybe that's why she said that and she was feeling, pretty sensitive about it and maybe she'll think about it and not really mean it, but you also don't put yourself in positions like that, that's for
I
sure.
would never. Um, Yeah, but so here's the other thing too about that, because I don't know if I do this. It's hard to catch yourself in the instance of being really spiteful towards somebody, like to have in that moment to have enough like groundedness to then evaluate your own attitude and be like, "Oh shit, I'm actually being really spiteful towards someone right now." So I can't really think of it in my head, but what I try in my best practice is to not wish anything on anybody. I just say if they're doing something wrong, what will happen is what should happen, and it's not for me to try to like, put my finger on the scale at all, even with my thoughts.
Mhm, mhm.
If someone's behaving bad, I'm not like I want them to get fucked. I'm like it'll happen if it should happen, and if it doesn't happen, it's not my problem. You
You
know?
know what I find myself doing often is when I have thoughts like that, like literal internal thoughts, and I go in my head, I don't really mean that because what I feel like I'm doing is just being like a really shitty person and a bad Christian, and so if I'm wishing such like ill on somebody, and then if karma is really real, like that's gonna come back to me too.
You
But
can
also,
hope
I
that
just really don't
yeah.
wish anything like that on somebody. To an extent, like I said, there are circumstances where it's warranted and it's very minimal. It's like, wait, you're not understanding the situation that I was just in, and maybe someday you will because you'll have to go through it as well.
Here's the thing though. I don't wish I don't wish unnecessary pain on people. I
Yeah,
wish learning
lessons.
on people. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
It's just
100%.
I wish that you experience what you need to experience to figure out what you should figure out.
Yep. I think that pretty much sums it up. Like you can wish lessons on people, but wishing ill will on them just makes you pretty much a shitty person.
Yeah, more emotionally volatile.
But again, when Vincent Gallo wished that on Roger Ebert, and then he came back and apologized. I think whether he learned a lesson or not of like, wow, I really shouldn't put that out in the world, but I think the fact that he apologized might mean that he never really meant it. He was just being he was just hurt.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm.
Pause for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yo,
Yo.
it's got to come from a place of pain. Here's what I think too. Like who historically does cursing? It's witches, right?
With uh
Like who in the
I think
mythology
so.
commits curses? It's witches.
It would be witches, yeah.
It's people who are not physically powerful enough to exact justice. They use words and um, external forces. They wield external forces against people like dark magic and things like that. Because you had the knights and shit. If they wanted revenge or someone to suffer consequences, they'd get an army together and go slaughter your shit. But witches do this thing where they go into their house and they conspire and they think things, and they that through the power of that they're able to like do the damage that they want to do that they can't physically do. So I think it comes from I say that because I have a theory that maybe it comes from a place of physical um powerlessness, kind of. You can't physically do what you
Mhm.
want to do, so you gotta do it that way.
Yeah, so do you think then well, I guess, I don't believe in there are people that think there are witches out there, so I don't actually believe in any of their power. So it's more just like I think it's just coincidence, but it's still wrong
Yeah, I don't
because it just
know.
makes you a shitty person.
I don't know. It's hard to say. If you asked me a couple of
Well,
years ago if I believed in that
yeah.
shit, I would say absolutely not. And now I'm like, maybe not in the way that it's portrayed in movies, but maybe in some way it does have some kind
So
of a, you
it,
know.
if you wanted to argue or make the point that it's, again, it's good versus evil, which we've talked about quite a bit.
Hmm.
It's if you have that ill will, then the power of evil will use that, aka, in my opinion, in my beliefs, the devil will use that to try and make that happen. But then then there's the power of prayer, which does the opposite. So I think maybe that's the case to be made. You know who'd be really good at this conversation?
Joe.
Joe. Yeah.
Yep. Well, if you go pop someone's tires on their car, and then they come out to their car, and then they see that their tires are popped, their day's gonna be ruined, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that to me. It's like if I can do something to put you in a negative mood and to like impact your existence. Because I think about it now in terms of toxic people, and there's just toxic people that have this ripple effect where, like, think of like an abusive father, like a molester or something, and his evil transfers to his kid that he hurt, which then transfers to the kid of their kid if they have kids. The cycle continue. The effect of it is just like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that's what like magic is. Like that's what evil, how evil, you know.
Yep. Yep. I think that's a great point. And I think off the air, off the air, like this was live. I've told you in the past about a show called Evil, and
Oh
they
yeah, I've
kind of
seen
take a
it.
lot of those real life. Oh, you've seen the show.
Mm,
I think it's great because it shows a lot of like what it helps me do is understand the real evil in the world,
mm-hmm,
potentially, and how it can exist in ways that literally when we talk about child predators online, like these are real demons in the world. Uh, and so I think of it that way. I'm not really sure what point I'm trying to dial home, except for the fact that real life demons live in our society, and
mm-hmm.
they're the ones causing all the evil.
And you can get
Kind of
power from doing evil shit. So in a way, that's kind of like the dark
that's how that
forces.
show works too.
Yeah, well, if
Yeah,
you
yeah, exactly.
steal a bunch of shit from somebody, that's not right, but you just gained a bunch of power, money, whatever from stealing their shit. So
Hmm.
you can choose to go the dark path or the light path, and when you choose the dark path, you can accrue a lot of power that way.
And
Uh,
then when karma hits you back, you end up getting even deeper down the rabbit hole with evil, I
exactly,
would
you
say.
end up making a deal uh, in exchange for something in your own life when you do things like that, and then there will be a
Agreed.
toll eventually. The debt collector will come, and you'll have to pay a price. Is the way
Hmm.
see that.
I like
That's
to think that the price of heaven is a lot better than the price of hell.
yeah, and all of this talk of like dark forces and stuff. I think the real question is, are curses and things like that, are they real in the sense of like explainable reality, or is there some actual real magical aspect to it?
I wouldn't call it magical. I'd call it like
So you're pretty
religious aspect to
grounded where
it.
you don't see there being a possible like actual summoning of demons, things like that. You think it's
No, I
silly?
think that's no, I don't think that's silly, but I don't call it magic.
Well, okay, if you summoned say, okay, do you believe like if people are possessed or whatever, they would actually like levitate or things like that? Like I would call that
No, I
magic,
don't think
right?
so.
Okay, so that's the
I
thing.
don't think that would happen. Yeah.
Is reality as we experience it in our day to day lives legit, or are there like outlier events that happen where that doesn't apply? Where reality as we see it is not the case.
I mean, I haven't been proven otherwise. I think I believe in coincidence, but I believe in miracles, and I believe in the power of evil. But I think that's more just all what happens throughout the day to day stuff. I don't believe in any sort of harnessing an inner power to levitate or expel physical energy. I don't think that's possible at all.
It's kind of like when we talk about like chi and things like that. It's kind of like that.
That's yeah, okay, and I can get behind that. That's a energy transfer. I guess that makes sense.
Or
But
we
to
talked
an
about
extent
people
of like levitating.
communicating without actually speaking and things like that.
Hmm. I don't
I've
know.
thought of
Maybe I
things,
haven't thought enough
people,
about
and
it.
then they call me like right after I think about them. Or
Oh,
I
I've
thought
had
about,
that happen all the time.
yeah, I thought about someone I haven't seen in years, and then I see them. It's
Yeah, or
very
they're in your
bizarre.
dream and then you see them the next day or something.
Yup, shit like that.
Yeah. So I think I still think that's a lot of that. Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I feel very conflicted. I know what I want to say, but I'm conflicted because I feel like I do believe in the power of ki, and
You know what?
we used to do these things in karate exercises where my dad would put everybody in a circle and have them turn around and face the walls, and one person in the middle, and he'd go to the person in the middle and he'd go, "I want you to like try to burn a hole into the back of their head with your eyeballs, like transfer that energy." And when he would teach us was like, if you feel like a weird itch sometimes, like back here, it's like maybe it's good to turn around and see what's going on. And so we would do that exercise, and it would work. Somebody would feel something, they'd turn around and be like, it was me. They were
Oh
telling
yeah.
him to go to me. But I also think that my dad might never see that. I think he was the one trying like to transfer that energy and to put that positivity within us. So he'd be the one making sure he's burning it because he's got the practice. And I do completely believe in a lot of that because I've tried to do things like that before and it works. Uh, so I do believe in that. But as far as like, Dragon Ball Z shooting an energy ball out of your hands, maybe once we get to 100% of our brain power, I don't know.
Well, that might be it. Maybe it's just nobody actually has that much of that particular. We sound so fucking dumb right now. Um,
What'd you say?
that I said we sound so fucking stupid right now. The that chi power, maybe you can, like most people, anybody alive right now can only access the most minuscule fraction of, here. But here's the other thing: is that some people believe, I don't know what the theory is called, that what shapes reality as we experience it is it's the collective experience kind of aggregated. We all experience this collective reality because we all agree to the experience. We shape it collectively and agree to this experience. If we all, in this theoretically, if we all woke up tomorrow and agreed that the sky was purple, it would then change it to that.
I
There's
don't think it
some
would
kind
change
of,
it. I think it would change the definition of purple.
we all we all have a collective consciousness that's connected to one another. We're intertwined with each other like a fabric. That power of this collective thing that we are is what creates the rules of our reality. And so if, like how they couldn't see the ships coming over the horizon, the natives couldn't see it. They'd never seen it before. They
Hmm.
had no idea, preconceived notion of what that was. So it just didn't even register that that was a thing. If we, it's not even possible, but if we all had like, you know, our brains altered at the same time to erase our all of our preconceived memories, everybody woke up with their memories erased at the same time, maybe we would all wake up and watch the world being defined as we started to experience it in it. Like, experience is a very weird thing.
So to that point, then, if we were all to wake up with our brains reset, wouldn't you believe that we would all be good people? Or
No,
you don't believe that
no. Why would we all be good
because
people?
we've never been taught evil?
We don't learn evil, we learn good.
No, what you're saying then is when we're born, we're inherently evil.
Yes.
No,
Humans
I
by
believe the
nature are
opposite.
not good. Humans by nature are not.
I believe
No,
the
look at
complete
kids.
opposite.
Kids are totally greedy. Kids are greedy as hell. If you don't discipline a dog, what does it do?
I don't think that makes them evil.
No, it's not evil. It just, we would have no concept of good and evil. And if you wanted something, you would just bonk the other person and take their shit. Why would you?
Well, if we are all God's children, then I definitely believe you are inherently born good and you are taught evil. And even things like being greedy, and not every child is greedy, as they grow up, they're like, "Oh, I really like cars. I would love to have more cars."
A
Well,
kid would never
what you
come
don't understand,
unlatched from its mom's tit if you didn't tell it at a certain point to stop doing it.
that's because it doesn't know what else to do. It still has to be taught, but that doesn't make it
That's what I'm
evil.
saying. That's
Evil
not
is like
evil.
born. What you just
Evil is
said,
when you know
we're
what good is
inherently
and you
born
choose
evil.
not to do it. That's what is evil. If you
I
have no
say,
concept of evil, then you cannot behave evil. If no one's taught you what's right and wrong and you kill someone and you've never known anything different, you're not evil because you don't know that that's not a good thing to do.
I think you're arguing against yourself
No, how am I arguing against myself? Why are we? This is
because,
not. This is a. We went in. Okay, this is fun though. I'm good with this.
well, I just don't. I feel like you're saying that it's not evil to kill someone because you didn't know it was bad, but you're inherently born evil, is what you said.
You're inherently born to be self-serving. Selfishness is an inborn trait.
But that's a survival tactic to me, to an extent,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. It's survival. It's taking what you want or need for yourself. And if you've not been taught, you actually think morality is just like something that's like. I mean, I think certain elements of morality are like
Okay,
programmed
well,
into people.
maybe the real argument is here: when we're born, we're blank canvases because I can't, I will never
Yeah, you have
agree
no.
to the fact that we're born potentially evil, and it,
You're not evil. You're
but
selfish.
your intention when you're born is like God wants you to be a good person, and I think that's instilled in you, and I think you are taught to be evil
So
by
why
society
would a
and
baby
bad
take
parents.
why would a baby take all of another baby's toys? Would you call that kid evil?
No, I wouldn't call them evil at all.
Then what about an adult who took all of another person's money? Would that be evil? If an adult just
Yeah,
stole
because he
everybody's
knows
money?
better. He
My
knows
point
better.
exactly. He knows better
Yeah,
because
but
he's been
you
taught.
said that you were born inheritedly evil
You're born with
because
selfish
that
instincts.
selfishness is not evilness.
No, it's not
Selfishness
evil.
to the selfish instinct in the beginning of your life is probably more of it, like I said, a survival tactic. So I
And then
don't, I
what would
refuse
motivate
to.
you to not have that if it was serving you really well and you didn't have any training otherwise? Like if we were all wiped out and then there was just a group of people that were born tomorrow and they had no outside influence from anyone else, what do you think would happen in that group? Do you think that they would form a utopia? What would happen?
I think they would learn together what's right and wrong, and some people would go one way and some would go the other.
I think that some brute ass motherfucker would dominate the hell out of the entire group. And then once he had
But
total
that's still
authority
you're
and
talking about that survival instinct,
yeah.
that you
And once,
because
but all of the
like,
stuff he would do in the course of that would be stuff we would consider evil.
but I think you always had a choice.
Mm. Why would you not choose if you don't know what's at stake? Why would you not choose the thing that's going to make you happier in the moment? Why would you? What would pop into your
But
head
what
to make you
okay,
think
so
like, "Oh, I should delay gratification here. I should let this person have this stuff." You know what I mean?
okay, so then you're arguing then that all those people would want the same thing and they'd all want to be that selfish uh that selfish survival instinct, want to lead the play, they'll want to lead
Well,
the
no, some
pack
people want to be
like an animal.
followers because they know they can't dominate, so they
Well,
have
they
to
weren't
choose
taught
a
that.
different. But yeah, they were because they got their asses whooped when they tried to jockey for first place when they realized that wasn't
But that's the
like
difference
me.
between
I'm
us
not
and
the dude that
animals.
I can't take top dog spot, so I have to like become dominant in other ways. You know what I mean?
Here's why I think your argument doesn't work, and it's because if we think about civilization from the beginning, I would argue that most people are inherently good people. And so at the beginning, you had that potential to be the evil. And then don't you think the world would be gone by then?
That the world would be gone. I think entire
If
civilizations have
everybody
been
was,
wiped out by other
if
civilizations.
everybody was, oh, great. Oh, totally. But minus Iran right now, we've come a long way. And I would argue, and that, well, religion plays a big part in it, but I would argue that most people are good.
I just don't. I
Not
don't.
perfect, but good. I think we all have selfish tendencies. I think we all do things we're not supposed to do. But I don't think that makes you an evil or bad person. I think the obvious evil bad people are the pedophiles, the rapists, the murderers. Like that's true evil to me because they enjoy that and don't regret it. They don't have any of that that self reflection.
I think there's evil actions for sure. I think there's people that are like in a cycle of committing evil actions and they, like you said, they don't regret and they continue because there's not an impetus for them to change. They don't feel a motivation to like stop what they're doing because it's working for them right now. So there's nothing stopping them. I think I think though most people are capable of committing evil, selfish acts, it doesn't make them evil in the sense that their souls are corrupted, to go to hell. But when you say most people are good, that to me what would you call good?
Well,
Would good be
okay. Well,
something that's
so in the I don't know the exact reference to it because I'm not good at that stuff, but in the Bible, I believe they say that, all children go to heaven because they're maybe for maybe this is not definitely not quoting it, but because they're just inherently good.
I just think they're not old enough. It's like the same reason a kid doesn't go to jail. It's because they're not old enough to weigh things. They haven't had enough experience with the world to weigh the pros and cons of their decisions well enough. So a kid, babies sometimes do like kill other babies to like take their toys and things like that. But it wouldn't
Yeah,
be the
but that's not,
baby's
it's because
fault.
they don't know the difference. They don't know what
Exactly.
good and
They don't
evil
know, but
is.
it's an evil
Yeah, but
action.
you can't argue. Yeah, but okay, that's like when they do something good, that's like saying, wow, they don't know what they're doing.
They don't. They're just being programmed.
But you are arguing that you said from the beginning of this that we are inherently evil. That's what you said.
I think people are predisposed to be towards selfishness. That's why it's so difficult for a lot of people to like part with their money that's why self-sacrifice is such an amazing thing when people do it because it's not something that is instinctually when someone sees someone else getting the shit kicked out of them, your instincts usually tell you, if you have no stake in that fight, run the fuck away. We are programmed with the idea of like, hey, you should stop and help that person. That's not what I think is like a natural instinct, though.
Okay, so do you think it's evil to not step in and help?
I think it's selfish. I think only you know if it's evil because you know the kind of conflict that you had with yourself before. That's why I don't like judging other people, because, like, if you saw it happen, what did you feel in that moment? Did you feel afraid? Did you feel like you could help, but you're rather not? Like, what was your internal struggle? You know what if you did wrong, and you know if you you
I
know
think in a situation like that, the evil thing would be I know that I can help, but I don't care.
exactly. But only you would know that.
I don't think most people would do that. I
Most
think
people
I
do what?
think I don't think most people would be I don't think most people that are capable of helping in a scenario like that would say, "Nah." I think they would help. I think anybody that really felt like they could help in a scenario that they will help. I believe that. If you think that you can be of assistance, but however, if your instinct is to run away, well, maybe your assistance is to run away and find other help.
I think you have a very optimistic view of people.
It's
I
the
wish
best
I
way to
had the
live.
I wish I had that sort of
But
an
but on
optimistic
the
view.
flip side, I'm also the person that I'm going to carry a gun into every store I go to because I don't trust people because I know people are evil. But I also know that I want to be able to do that because if there is a need to arise that I'm capable and available.
I think people are capable of being really good. I think they're also capable of being really, really bad. I don't think that people are one or the other. Um, just like the guy who runs the business that I'm talking about that I met
Yes,
with
yeah.
has
Okay,
done
I wouldn't call him
lots of not
evil.
good things.
Yeah.
He's done lots of not good things. He's also done things that go above and beyond and are really nice. So morality is like a really complex thing. And so I think for me, it's hard when I see people just say, reduce someone to like, oh, they're a piece of shit because they did bad stuff. Well, lots of people do bad stuff. And then they also will
Yeah,
go and do really good stuff. So
well, because I think because we as human beings created sin, uh you nobody can be the perfect person, but I do believe that you can be an extremely evil person. I think it's
I think
easier to be evil than bad, but I think that's because it's a cop out.
I think people are I stand by my opinion that people are predisposed towards being selfish, towards things that are self-serving, which we would now consider to be evil, to not part with your shit. That would be I think that would be common. I think if we didn't have laws and things in place, m- lots of people, probably all, would end up stealing because they would see it as like, if I don't take it, someone else will. I think people would
Well,
fall
okay, but
into
you're still talking about instinct to me. Because if we don't have law and order, the only way to survive is because evil exists in the world. The only way to survive is to do some of those selfish things. We see that all the time in like talk about like the Evil Dead or something where it's like I'm a good person, but I can't help you in this scenario, but I can get this big crate of food to my people while you're getting eaten by a zombie. Like
I'm talking about Walking Dead.
what I say, Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. You meant Walking Dead. I
I
got it.
did say that. That's actually because my time hop talked about Evil Dead and Army of Darkness today,
I was like,
that I had watched
how's he
them.
gonna wrap Evil Dead into this? Um,
That would have been really good.
yeah, it's like that's not. I don't see the comparison.
Like the
But
necromancer and
yeah, I think people are tribal. Animals are the same way. Animals will protect their close family. Does
but
that
we are not
extend?
animals, and that's very
Well,
explained in the
if
Bible.
you have the ability to rationalize your decision, then you can be held accountable for the decisions you make.
I agree with that.
If you are intelligent enough to rationalize the things you do and choose to do something that we deem to be the wrong thing, you just chose to do something selfishly, you can be held accountable for that decision. When you say the
You
difference
know
between
what?
instinct and evil and good, I think that evil and good are an explanation for instinct to me, but maybe not.
For
I don't know.
instinct, maybe in
Well,
some
okay,
scenarios.
you
I
you
think
are
in some
born
scenarios,
you're born a blank slate. Let's go back to birth. You're born a blank slate. You've had nothing, no external forces, um, good or bad, have not pushed up against you yet. You haven't interfaced with the world at all. Your mom comes, she's a force of good. She gives you food and nourishment. That's your first experience. That's going to make you feel really positive.
wait, let's just stop this because I guess I'm wrong. I'm going to
What?
admit that I'm wrong here because I just Googled, does the Bible say you were born good? And it goes, the Bible generally teaches that humans are not born good, but
Oh, so
rather with an
you're not going to
inherent
trust
sin
me, but
nature.
I've been
But
telling
I'll
you.
trust the Bible?
Because
I
where
thought
do you
the
think
other
I
thing.
got my shit from?
You never referenced the Bible.
But this gets to the deeper point,
Sad.
and it even goes back to the curses
Now that
thing.
I
It
read
even
that, it does make sense.
not
Sorry.
me
I'm
explaining it
sorry.
all.
I'm sorry.
Atone for your
Because I
fucking
have
sin.
to, yeah, it's because I have maybe too much faith in humanity.
You do, but once you this is the difference between communism and capitalism, if you want to get down to it. Communism would believe what you were just saying, which is that people are inherently good. They're corrupted by capitalism or evil forces. It's like, if people are inherently good, then we may as well just have a universal, utopia where everyone can just share their shit. No, because what do people do? They take advantage, they steal, they jockey for position. They'll fucking
You know
destroy
what? I
it.
don't want to talk about it because I'm very upset with with this with
It's
this
fine.
realization because I just want people. I just like to believe that most people are good, and maybe that part's true, and maybe it's not. But
Well,
I
maybe you just
I
had
would
a
like to
big
think that we were
aha
born that
moment
way.
that you can now, like, I think more people need to hear that because, like, most people do believe what you just said, that people are just good by nature. It's like, well, then why the fuck do we have all these religious texts that are like, this is how you need to be? Like, if the religious texts weren't here, like, as soon as God's out of the equation, people go fucking nuts, right? That should just tell you right there, people are not inherently
Ugh.
good.
But now, once you put God in the equation, people go fucking nuts.
No, I mean, well, you try to reinstitute God on people who are so
Yeah, yeah,
removed from God, they're going to try to reject it in any way they possibly can. Like, that's bullshit.
yeah.
Because they got used to living in their sick way. Um, but if you just take God away
Well,
from a religious people, they'll create a new God, and the new God they create is going to be themselves. They're going to worship themselves because people are
I'm
selfish.
going to still continue to believe that all babies are good.
They are good,
Otherwise,
okay.
I'm gonna look at a baby and be like, "You evil son of a bitch."
Let's go back to that topic because you brought up we started to get into something about the forces that act upon us when we're little, and that's what is, I think, what makes people good or bad. Maybe, like you said, you're born into sin. You're born a blank canvas. But as soon as you're born, you have the influence of other things going on. And so, like you said, like, babies can be really sweet if their parents insulate them from the world. But as soon as you run into another kid or somebody who does something bad to you, you're going to immediately, that's going to start to impact who you are. Like, how you handle that will impact who you are going forward, right?
But as a
So that's
parent,
good and evil.
don't you look at that evil child and say, "Wow, their parents are bad parents."
Yeah, he's not an evil kid.
So
You just go, that
I
kid's
guess that
gonna
kind of still
fucking
proves your point. Yeah, yeah.
that kid's gonna grow up and be a real terror. That's what you think when you see a kid like that. You think they better get a
Hmm.
handle on that kid before he grows up to be an axe murderer, you know? Like that's the kind of kid that's
Yeah.
going to shoot their fucking parents when they get older. As soon as he takes away the iPad, the kid's going to fucking,
Yeah, that's true.
you know. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but and
It,
the funny
yeah,
thing though is I always still boil that down to the bad parents or evil parents or parents that don't give a shit, aka evil. I I I wasn't thinking that it was something that you're just, you know, just born to be that way, of course.
yeah, but
I wonder,
you,
sorry. This would be probably a little off topic. I was just going to say like as AI builds and you have robots, like what is it going to be like if a real human baby, and I swear someday they're going to do this, is going to be raised by two robots? How is that person? How is that? I guess it depends on how the robots are. Very, very off topic. Sorry. I was trying to go somewhere with it, but I think it's a little ridiculous.
well, yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, we're all products of our influence or of the influences around us, but it's just weird, man. It's weird to start talking about good and evil because, like it muddies the waters because you like you just said you think in terms of instinct, and then we banty around terms like good and evil, and then it kind of separates the two things into two different camps where
Sure.
like good and evil are spiritual, but instinct is not spiritual. It's like you know
Programmed.
really yeah, and it's like really part of your nature, not and spiritual and nature are two separate things. But I don't think they are, and I think talking about like how they actually are part of the same thing is like it's pretty helpful because you know
Yeah, if you just think about, if we were talking about like nature and instincts and what, I mean, it's what we've relied on for a long time, but now we're being told that you can change your nature. And I think that gets pretty convoluted and gross.
everybody's got a different, and I think that everybody's got a different set of parameters that they're working with from like how they grew up or what's actually like natural to their genetics, right? Because genetically you can be predisposed towards having a flaring hot temper or whatever, different
Hmm.
things like that. So those different things that you're working with, I think those come into play when you talk about is someone evil? Because if I encounter a situation where someone's like acting threatening to me or whatever, it's just an example, and I decide to like I'm not gonna have a hard time not responding and fighting because that's just natural. I was raised a certain way. I'm
Same.
not by nature an aggressive person. You take someone else who is more raised more aggressively, genetically predisposed towards that. You put them in a situation where they're tempted with something, right? They're maybe tempted to steal, or we talked about like I hate continuing to go back to pedophilia, but you talk about pedophilia, like you're have this weird like real intense temptation to do something like that. It seems like there's like some kind of a scale in terms of how much you're tempted towards something to how much you're capable of resisting. But at the end of the day, just because you gave in to temptation, which it seems like that's what we do, you can still feel bad and repent for. You can still recognize like I fucking
That
fought
that it was wrong. Yeah.
the temptation. I tried my best to not give in to the temptation. You know, I don't know. It's hard
Yep.
to.
No, I
That's why
think that's
people
great.
say don't judge others because how can you judge somebody when you don't know what they fought with against it? You don't know how they feel after the
But
fact. You know.
yeah, whether we know it's true or not, but like when you watch a serial killer documentary, it's like, uh, I mean, I can't think of one where they had a normal childhood, or at least that's the way they portray it to us, is that her childhood
Yeah.
was freaking wildly weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
Again,
you're
that's
like,
an
oh, I
influence
would
of the
never do
parents.
that. I would never. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't do what they did.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like,
So you don't know because grew up in a stable household or something. Not
yeah.
that
Or
I
you've never
justify
been
any
faced
of
with a
that stuff.
temptation. You've never been faced with the same temptation. You see all these guys
Te-
online like look at these 50-year-old actors with their like 20-year-old girlfriends. I would never do that. It's like, Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure, buddy. uh, shoot, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say no, I lost it. Darn it.
I think judging is one of the worst things you can do. And cursing is just an extension upon judging. It's judging someone is you feel you know the you feel you know what consequences they deserve to suffer. And cursing is just a step further in saying I'm going to like push with my mental and everything toward push you towards that or whatever.
Do you think? Well, but that's like to an extent, right? Because like when you talk about literally in the like an actual judge, and and a jury,
Mhm.
like that's it's kind of your job is to be like, yeah, you. I found out you did something evil, and I got to send you away for it. So yeah, you do have to judge somebody.
It's like the guy who's the executioner who has to kill the person. You know, it's
That's
not
all. I mean, that yeah,
you're
that's
not the
tough. Yeah.
person who you're not actually. That's why I think judges get a bad. People are like fuck judges and stuff because it's like you don't lead a perfect life yourself. How can you then sit in a position where you judge? But it's your job. I would never want to do it. I would never want to be a lawyer. Um, because you sit
Yeah,
and
me neither.
you look at it in a legal way rather than a spirit. You know what I mean? You have to view it through the eyes of the law.
Yeah, but also a lot of that stuff is based off of like, the Ten Commandments, like thou shalt not kill. So if you kill, therefore, boom, you've been judged.
Yeah,
But
but then you
but
have to
it's
determine
it's
it
it's
through the
all about
law.
the burden of truth. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
you're
tough.
not sitting
But
there going, "I damn you to
what are our
hell."
options? Right, right. What are our options though to not have our judicial system?
Yeah, well, we have to. We have to for the greater good. But I think as a judge, the best judge that you would have would be someone who is only not partial, someone who is only just invested in the facts and then wielding the law the way it's supposed to be wielded, but not getting emotionally invested to where that person was like, "You piss me off. I want you to go to jail for fucking however many years, you piece of shit." You know, like that. You don't want that judge. You want the judge who's
Yeah,
not like
exactly. Yeah,
actually
and
like
you're not supposed to be
making.
that way.
Yeah, you're not making a decision on the person's eternal soul, but you're like, well, you're a menace to society. You're gonna hurt people, and so maybe this amount of time will be enough time for you to like. Ultimately, it's supposed to try to make them learn, right? Is that the point of going to jail? It's
Yeah, yeah.
rehabilitation.
It's suffering your for your consequences. But
Yeah.
it actually, the whole beginning of this conversation, we talked about wishing ill on people, and it made me think of that story I told you I had on my way to work the other day, where um,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
driving in the left lane with the flow of traffic, and I saw a bird. So I hit my brakes real hard, not knowing the guy behind me was on my ass, and I didn't know, like maybe he was flashing his lights or something. Uh,
Maybe he was being a douchebag.
yeah, maybe I don't know. Not sure exactly what happened, but as I saw that bird, I knew I had to hit those brakes. Otherwise,
Save
it
the
was just
bird.
instinct.
Yeah.
Save the bird. I didn't realize that somebody was following me too close. Uh, and then he proceeded to get very angry, which to me was comical. And then eventually, when he got next to me, he was like, "I recorded you doing that," and it's like, okay,
That's
well,
so
I hope
Seattle, dude.
like in yeah, and I'm like in my
I
head I was like, well, I
recorded
hope
you.
someday you do hit somebody. I did wish that actually
I
because
do
I
that all
wanted
the
him to learn his
time.
lesson.
You just made me
Yeah.
realize how I do this. I'm always like, I hope I see
Yeah.
you upside down up ahead and I get to drive by and go, I ain't helping you, bitch. I
I
do
think
that
sometimes
all the
I'm like,
time.
I hope he gets pulled over, and then when I drive by, I'm right there. I'm gonna pull over too and be like, I
I saw
saw it. I
everything.
am a
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm a
Dude,
witness.
dude. Oh my gosh, you totally like just got my thing because I have bad thoughts when I'm driving. I have thoughts where when people go do shit like that, I'm like, I hope I see you like hanging out of your car window with the car upside down, like coughing up blood, and I get to go walk. I don't hope I don't
I
hope
don't
it.
go that far. I really don't.
I have these in my head. I see the person like like about to die, and I go up and I'm like, "Why did you do that, you stupid motherfucker? You deserve this." Like I have that in my head.
I'm talking about people getting pulled over. You're like,
I
I hope
thought
you
I
did
was so
freaking a
nice, and
barrel
I just
roll.
remembered. I thought it was so nice, and I just remembered. I do totally think that all the time.
That's hilarious.
You deserve this. It's cursing. I curse people, dude. I curse them when
You
they
did.
drive past me.
Or
And I
were
never
you
see them upside
celebrating? Or
down.
you want? Yeah, no, you cursed them. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't work. I
I did
never
get
see the
one.
justification that I need.
Dude, I had a good one, though. I did. I had a cop that was in front of me, and I was intentionally like obscuring him so that people that were flying, because I wanted to see someone get caught racing past us. And some dude raced past and he was pulling a trailer and he's like, boom! And he flew past the cop and immediately lights go on. Cop pulls out right behind him. And the guy tried to act like he suddenly was going somewhere else. And so he tried to turn off down an exit and go away. And he ended up having to pull over. But I was like,
Yeah.
yes, justice, justice.
Best feeling ever.
It felt I was
Yeah,
laughing.
I haven't felt that yet.
Because you just see those people and you're like, this is how you go through life. You go through life
Yeah, your
fucking
actions
up
deserve
other people's
consequences.
shit. Yup, you bulldog other people on the road and you get away with it and cause really serious threats to other people's safety. And I wish you're the one who had the threat to your safety. And then you're laying there and going, oh, I finally see, I see what I did. But
You
I
go
think,
so far as
yeah, I see
like,
it
I hope you
all
get
the
an
way
accident.
through.
I'm like, I hope you get a ticket.
But I go like, I don't actually hope they see the errors of their way because I in my head they're so damned that I'm like, you're so fucking dumb. I don't think you'll ever see what you did wrong. Like I
You're
do
right, because
judge
even
them.
if
I'm
they
like,
get pulled over and they get a ticket, they'll be like, I got away with it for so long, I can keep doing it.
there's like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I actually imagine those people and I just think, you just need a fucking bullet. That's what you need. Just get rid
So
of all those people.
then you want some evil person to put a bullet in their head because they were following you
No,
too
I want to
close?
put a bullet in their head.
Dude, you're evil.
This is why I think
That's not true.
this is why people end up shooting up their schools, I think. They get in this mentality that I'm describing. Like I vividly see them like I would just love just bah, and then like the world's a little better. Bah, the world's a little bit better more. Bah.
They think they're a little bit better, but it's definitely not.
Yes, that's the mentality. Yeah. They got
That's
laughed at.
evil.
But then we go back to how you said people are born good. But you look at these kids in school and they're mercilessly mean to other kids. They are being
Yeah, well, look at their parents. They're the same way.
They're being 10 times more evil than adults feel comfortable to do. Fucking mean.
That's because their adult parent has instilled in them that
and
stuff, and then even their adult parent has some life experience, be like, I know I'm not going to do that. But when you sit there and your kid's eating dinner with you, and you're like, this guy was on my ass today. When he pulled up next to me, I just wanted to pull the freaking trigger, and I'm like, and that kid's like, that's what people do. That's bad. That's evil parents. And it's
is it evil or is it just a parent blowing off steam?
I think it's evil because if you don't know the influence you have on your children and you're willing to let them hear you say evil things like that, they're going to think that's normal.
So you think that's evil? That's a harsh judgment because I know lots of people who say things they just say things like that and they don't realize they're impacting their kids so severely.
Well, you have an obligation when you have children to raise good human beings. And if you
everyone
are
thinks
sitting
they
here
raise good
talking
human
about
beings.
doing evil, Not people that sit there and say they want to shoot the person that was on
They're
their
the kinds
ass.
of people who go and they're like, my kid is the best kid in the whole world.
Yeah,
They
they
genuinely,
say that.
they believe it.
They're the people that shouldn't have had kids
So
because
like
they're
most people.
maybe most people know. I don't think that.
Most people
Nice
think that
try.
the sun shines out of their kid's ass.
I don't think
Even
most
if
people
their
think
kid
that.
sucks. They're like, oh, my kid is the hardest worker and the most
I think the problem is
honorable.
are those there's 1 out of 10 or even 1 out of 5 parents that do that, and that's not most.
I would say
I think most people
five
think
out
they
of
have
five
good
parents do that.
kids.
I've
Yeah,
never
but
seen a parent
what if
who's like,
what if
hey, it's rare to say, hey, you know what? You had that coming. You're being a motherfucker. You know, that's
Oh, I don't
rare.
think so at all.
I think that's pretty rare.
I think that you're probably not put in those positions nearly as much as if you're a good parent.
I think that you raise little mirror images of yourself. And so if your kid's doing something wrong, it's probably something you do wrong too. And so you're like, I don't see no problem with that.
Gosh, I don't know. I
Everyone,
disagree, but I
yeah.
can't exactly tell you why.
I don't think most people are
Because
raising
when I see
terrible
my kids
people.
doing bad things, I'm telling them to tell them those are you can't do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
okay, so I know and recognize things that I've done that are maybe bad, and then if I found out my child did those, I would be in a better position to be like, "No, no, no, you really don't wanna do that, that's really bad."
Yeah. Yeah.
We should get to the wheel. This is a good one, though.
This is good. All right. Pull that
So,
bitch up.
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever.
James wants to be
this is the way
on
you don't
the
like that idea.
next one, by the way.
The next wheel or what?
The next
The next
episode.
episode?
Work ethic.
Okay.
Yes, he wants
Work
to join
ethic.
us soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Money.
Whoa, come on.
Of
That is
course, they go
so
hand in hand.
serendipitous.
Serendipitous.
Uh, I mean, this one just writes itself.
It
Actually,
does.
let's go the opposite way. I want to go the opposite way.
Okay,
How
what's
many
the opposite?
times? The opposite way is how many times you see little shitheads with really shitty work ethic get promoted
Mm,
and make more money. I see it all the time. Little ass kissers don't have any work ethic. They just know how to work the system and look important and then just climb that ladder and make that money while you
be
got the
busy
really
when the boss
hardworking
is
people down on
around.
the bottom. Yeah, yeah. Tell the
As soon
boss
as the
he's
boss shows up,
right. And
he goes, "Come on, guys, let's get a move on it. All right, we're not being paid to
mm-hmm.
stand around
Yeah.
all day." It's like, motherfucker, I just
Yep.
saw you at the fucking fridge
Yeah. Yeah.
getting snacks and shit.
Yeah. That's the opposite way for me. And I think more often than not, that happens way too much.
They're working all right, but they're working the social angle.
Yeah, they're working the system. Yeah.
They're gonna, on their resume, it's gonna say the fucking top dog
Actually,
social.
that happened to me when I was younger. So quick background. 18 years old, go to work for Sports Authority, do really well for Sports Authority, but then leave for a better job. And eventually that job, the work started to dwindle. I didn't have the same hours. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to Sports Authority. I'm going to say, hey, well, would you have me back? And they're like, actually, yeah, we want you to come back as a manager. Um, and so I wasn't quite 21 yet. And at Sports Authority, you had to be 21. And so I was just a couple months away. So they go, we're going to train you to be a manager. When you're 21, you take the test and then you can manage your department. I was like, sweet. That's the reason why I came back. And a couple months later, so I was promised by like a higher up manager, but then there's still a store manager. Well, the store manager who I was working under before, who was in with this plan, well, he got transferred to Hawaii. And then this other guy came in, complete douchebag from a different store. Um, and when he came, he brought people from the other store. And so he brought somebody who was already the manager of that department that I was supposed to have. And maybe that guy didn't. Maybe he had the work ethic, I don't know, but I was promised something at this store and I told him that. I was like, "Hey, I came back and I was promised this position." Uh and he goes, "Well, I didn't make that promise." And I said, "Cool, here's my 2 weeks." So
And
maybe that's a little different, but oh no, I quit. I gave my 2
so,
weeks right out there and boom, gone.
so which guy do you feel like was the piece of shit
The new store manager,
because he didn't uphold the
because
promise to the other guy?
the other guy and the guy below him who stayed, he's the one who brought me back to be the manager.
Well, that's why those. What's the company? Sports Authority.
Yeah, that's why they're closed.
I was gonna say they're not even in business anymore.
Yeah, and
I've
I have no problem shitting on them and that manager. I would name them by name if I remembered it.
I've encountered similar with places like they don't have the best management people there. A lot of managers kind of
No,
suck.
because yeah, and hey, you're a manager at a department store. You're not a manager at a corporate office or something. So
Exactly.
maybe not that there aren't amazing store managers. I know that's not true because some of the guys I had before that were just such cool guys, like really hard workers. The stores would go great, and then yeah, not everybody. But I
Work
worked so hard
ethic.
for that position, and that's why I came back. And I was like gonna make the most money I'd ever made at that time, and then it was just gone.
So work ethic is no guarantee of money in your pocket
Yeah,
because you had
exactly
good
right.
work ethic and you didn't get jack shit
Yep.
except for a
I
fucking
got out of
lie.
there in time though, because they closed right after that.
It's a good
Because I wasn't
lesson.
manager.
It's a good lesson though to learn that. That's what I always try to tell people and then they're like, fucking shut up. I just want to tell my story or whatever. And if it's me, I'm going to be pissed off too. But as an outside perspective, I can see how that kind of a lesson would shape you going forward. Like, don't trust people, man. Don't put your faith in
Yep,
people's like
exactly.
words. I don't trust anybody at all, period.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in getting stuff in writing now
Yeah, I just don't
because
trust
of stuff
people.
like
It's like,
that.
I'm gonna make you so busy if you help me out with this. Like, I hear this kind of shit. I'm gonna help you out so like you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get so fucking busy. I just need a little help, and then I'm gonna like you're gonna they try to paint themselves like this big
You're gonna
shot.
blow
And
up.
it's like, hey, until I see it, I don't believe fucking anything. And I extra don't believe it because normal people don't say things like that. Normal people are like,
No,
I'm going to
I
pay you
think
what you deserve, you know?
yeah, maybe 1 out of 100 times would that actually work.
What we're
Like
talking
where
like
you're
that.
like, say again.
Like talking like a big shot.
Well, 1 out of 100 in the sense where a guy comes to you and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna set you up for life. You just need to come work for me for a little bit, and things are gonna change." And then you're like,
It sounds
most
too
of
good
like
to be true.
99% of the time, yeah, it's not gonna work. But you do probably have that 1%, or even if it's a 0.5% of people that like, yeah, like if I didn't go work for this guy, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Usually people that are really good at convincing other people of things are not the well, actually, sometimes those people are amazing at getting things going because that's the kind of attitude
They
you
have
have
to already
to
be
get things
successful, I
going.
think. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Fraudsters are they're self promoters, and self promoters actually become big deals sometimes if they have good ideas. So I suppose it's a case by case basis. You have to judge that on, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true.
yeah, we
Few
live
and
in
far
a
between.
a society where they say if you work hard, you'll make good money. You know, right? Don't they say that, or that's kind of the
Yeah,
idea?
I think you need to work hard to slowly build up to that part to where you're going to make good money. And it probably doesn't happen for everybody, but I think a lot of us want to be like, hey, I work so hard. You should be paying me twice as what I get paid. Well, in the real world, that doesn't make sense. And so you do have to actually end up, bouncing from job to job and getting a little promotion here, a little promotion there, building up your resume. And, that's more of a reflection of your work ethic.
So I
Kind of
work
seeing
for
that
myself.
climb from, yeah, and that's working out for you right now. That's for damn sure.
I never let anybody tell me you deserve this or you deserve that, even when I probably didn't deserve it. I'm like, well, I know I have a ton of untapped potential. You don't know that because I have nothing to show you, but I know that I have
Yeah.
potential. So I'm just going to go figure that out by myself.
Yeah. That worked good. I definitely
It
didn't
worked
go
pretty
that
good.
route. I started with obviously, like, other than all the jobs I had for my dad, which gave me so much good experience and is the reason why I chose the profession I am in today. But I did, go to, I think I got a lot of good experience seeing different kinds of companies in not working in my field. So I learned a lot about like management and different types of work and the dynamics of an office space. And then I ended up working for a nonprofit as a marketing intern. And then from there, I just kept climbing to where I am today. And that's the best way I've found to make more money is to just keep climbing the corporate ladder, whether it's, at one company or it's five.
Okay. I'm going to tie this into curses.
Sure.
I think I can thread it all together because
You're
we
going to
live
weave
in
it
a,
together.
yeah, I'm going to weave it. We live in a society that's consumed by this mentality that there's like scarcity, but even more than that, that there's a mentality that successful people, at least amongst people that are not successful people are deserving of like your disdain or deserving of your curses, I suppose I would say.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We've talked about this before. But I think it all goes in together. Like when you say, say cursing people is an extension of you judging them, right? So you're judging them for
And
what you
jealousy, right? To an extent.
yeah, but you've decided that they don't deserve what they have, and they've probably stepped on some people to get to where they are. Lots of people they've stolen in your mind. Like we live on stolen land, technically, right? So we are founded on evil, essentially, right? So what is our deserved punishment, right? And these people are deciding what would make things just again, right? And unless they get those things that they've decided would make things just, they are going to be spiteful and curse everyone that, doesn't conform to their idea of what justice would be, right?
Well, that's kind of scary if we talk about how it works sometimes.
Well, it does work if you get the perception amongst enough people that that is the correct way to think, then that would eventually take over
Do you
the
think that is
consciousness.
that still cursing or is that a mob mentality?
I don't know. The line between cursing and just wishing bad for other people, I don't see much of a difference. But we talked about how even our own
Yeah, yeah, sure.
president is that spiteful. And maybe that's the whole point of this episode is that, like, that it's more simple than cursing. It's the thinking of ill towards others is such a thorn that, like, just radiates toxic shit to everybody who sees it, anybody who starts to think that that's the way to be. And it's kind of is a reflection of us as a society now. A lot of people think that way, like a lot of people. And I don't see
Well,
how you can
a lot
build
of
on
people
that.
think that if Trump's that way, because you use him as an example, if he's that way, his supporters are that way. And I think that's kind of the dumbest shit ever.
Well, a lot of people think a lot of people curse Trump. We
Yeah,
live in
no,
a
exactly.
society that's consumed. It goes all directions. It's not just him, but like you see it from top to bottom, like wishing ill on your enemies is not a
Yeah.
good way to be. I think that is like something that is being overlooked more than just like, oh, I don't like filthy language or whatever. It's like, and these people that want more money or are mad at the rich or whatever, it's like, how's that working for you? Are you making any headway in your progress by just being fixated on your negative intentions towards others? Like, look at Luigi Mangione. What did he do? He shot that CEO. Did that help him in any way? Did that improve
No,
things?
but then you had people celebrating him.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So this idea that like an eye for an eye is not the way to do it.
Yeah.
You brought up,
Well, that's what he did I wouldn't consider it eye for an eye.
well, he
That's
got
like saying
screwed through the insurance
C
company, right?
Yeah, but that's like saying the CEO went and murdered somebody with a gun.
But his idea that if he takes care of that guy, then there will be a positive ripple effect from that.
Yeah, agreed.
It'll
But I
start a
don't I think that's
discussion at the very least
yeah,
about how
which
much
has
money
happened,
these
yeah.
people make. It'll start a discussion about healthcare, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're judging it from that standpoint and you're like, yeah, the net good is going to be, and you
Yeah,
also think this guy's a piece of shit. So you're like, well, no loss there,
right.
you know?
People justify that as being eye for an eye. They're dumb. Eye for an eye. I actually think that's even referenced in the Bible, but I've known to be wrong. Uh,
An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
Actually, I think. Well, never mind. I don't know. I think eye for an eye is great.
Wait, what?
I think eye for an eye is a great justice system.
We're at the tail end of our thing, and you want to throw that shit out and just open up that whole, just some more.
Why is that bad?
An eye for an eye.
Yeah.
It depends on the intention. It depends on if you think that you're the one who is being made whole by you lost your eye, right? And watching another person lose their eye is going to somehow give you your eye back.
No.
That's the idea of an eye for an eye.
You took somebody's eye, and now your eye should be taken. That's eye for an eye.
I think these are two different concepts, I guess, because what I'm describing is that people that think that they're going to be made whole by watching someone else receive what they've determined to be justice. This is what they talk about people who've been abused or had their family members murdered by other people or whatever. The people
That's
are
why I believe
more
in the death sentence.
They're more destroyed by the hate that they're carrying in their heart for the other person. Not forgiving that other person is more detrimental to them, arguably more detrimental to them than what actually happened. So a lot of these people come in and they say, I forgive you, but you will meet your maker, right? But I personally am not going to carry hate towards you. You're a troubled person. I forgive you.
I think that's their responsibility, but then our responsibility. I do think that if you murder somebody, you should get the death penalty. I think if you rape somebody, you should probably get raped.
Come on. See how you like it, motherfucker. No, man, no. When has anybody ever learned from...
What do you think the death penalty is?
Dude, we just had a whole conversation about like how different people experience the temptation certain people experience. When you're a little kid, the temptation to steal all the toys from another kid is more than the penalty that you're going to receive. Do you think as a parent, because the kid stole another kid's toys, you should drop kick that motherfucker across the room? Or do you think that you should talk to them?
They take their toys away. That would be eye for
an
eye.
What if the little kid?
Okay, but that's why we judge.
Does something more extreme.
That's why we have being tried as an adult and tried as a minor.
because you still think that the kid has time to learn from their mistakes. They didn't see the picture clearly. Now they might. That's my point. You're not
I think
the
you're more likely
person.
as a child than an adult.
Me too. But you're still not the person who can see inside of another person's head. And the point is not to inflict pain on another person. It's to try to
So
get them better, right? The point is to try to make them atone for their sins and to actually see things the correct way. So for some people, maybe they never will learn and maybe the death penalty is the right thing. But for other people, maybe they can figure it out. And that's what makes it so difficult. It's just like,
well,
you
that is
can't
difficult. I
judge.
agree with that. But you're making it more gray, with the gray area, which I totally agree with the gray area. But when things come to black and white, it's
This is why people come up for parole.
That guy, so
they evaluate them.
okay,
They're like, have you learned? Are you being better now?
Okay,
maybe you get out.
that guy that stabbed that Ukrainian girl on the bus or subway, whatever it was. He had been like a multiple time offender of violent crimes.
Right.
And then he gets put out several times, released, and then he goes and he kills this innocent person. He should be put to death. I don't want to see him anymore on this world because you keep letting him out and he keeps doing bad things. And I'm pretty sure that they talk about eye for eye in the Bible, but again, I'm
You think that eye for
we need Joe
right,
here.
let's look this up. Let's see. Is eye for an eye okay in the Bible? Old Testament legal principle intended to ensure punishment was proportionate to the crime, not a license for personal vengeance. So the punishment was proportionate. The punishment fits the crime.
Yes.
It functioned as a judicial limit on retribution, meaning if someone does something, you don't just fucking stone them to death. It often translated into monetary compensation rather than literal maiming. Jesus later reinterpreted this, encouraging mercy over retaliation. If you want to be Old Testament, you want to be old.
I'm going old, just to say I'm right.
If you want to be Old Testament, that would be essentially Jewish. They believe the Old Testament. You should say, oh no. And on that note, I think we're done.
Oh, shoot, dude. We're not recording.
Yeah, we are.
I know. I thought you'd be more upset about it.
I would see the thing running at the bottom.
I
know. That whole Old Testament way of thinking. Yeah, you gotta. Jesus was about mercy and compassion. What are you talking about? That Jesus believes in eye for an eye.
I can be merciful, but the judicial system doesn't have to be.
I get your point. The people need to be made whole for what happened. I'm just being extremist
today. I
get it. No, I think what you're saying is that's pretty common. Like, I think that's a pretty common thought. If you just ask a normal person, hey, do you think if someone fucking kills someone, should they like get proportional punishment, eye for an eye? And they'd be like, yeah, because I don't want them to come back out. That's like reasonable. I don't want that person to get back out and start murdering people. But I think like when you dig into that idea, obviously if we live in a society, we cannot just we don't know what's in people's hearts. That's why we can't look into their heads and be like, have you learned? Because if that guy that stabbed that woman on the subway actually had a change of heart and he's like, I found Jesus and I feel so bad for what I did, he's probably lying. But if you could see inside of his head and you could see
before they're put to death.
Yeah, if you could see that he actually turned a new leaf and he was like, oh, I will never do that again. Then why not let him back out if he's never going to do it again?
Because he's already, I don't know. I don't know how many chances you get. Maybe that's
you can't look inside someone's heart, unfortunately. But if you could, and someone truly, genuinely had found the right way, and they were never going to do it again, why not let them try to make peace? That's the whole point. Make peace. Try to come out and do. You should feel if you did that and you actually found your morality, you would spend the rest of your life trying to do equal good to the bad you had done, right?
Yeah, I think that that's true for a lot of crimes, but not cold-blooded murder and pedophilia and stuff
Well, I
like
just don't
that.
think
I
most
think
of those
there's
people, they don't come back from that.
like if in this state, if someone broke into my house and then they turned around, ran away, and I shot them in the back, like I would go to prison. No, I don't think that I should be shot in the back because I think that that's different. But I do. Well, don't you think that's different? Like, I don't think
Yes,
you
yes,
should.
absolutely,
Like, that
totally different.
person should. That yeah, they shouldn't get justified for breaking into my house. Um, but if somebody like the guy that stabbed the Ukrainian woman just blatantly, just for no reason, stabbed a girl in the neck, like he didn't have any reason. I don't think there's any coming back from that as far as society goes. And I think you're a waste of tax resources in prison.
There's definitely a case to be made for that. You just have to decide how much. Everything comes at a cost, right? And so when you take a life, I think even if you're justified, there's still a
Oh, I
cost.
would be. Oh
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
the cost
as a
on my
society,
mentality would absolutely, yeah.
as a society, even if we decide these people deserve to die, I still think there's got to be some kind of a cost because it's not our place to take lives.
Well, somebody, you're right, is feeling that cost, but when
be
a
some
serial
kind of
killer or
cost.
pedophile or whatever got put to death, I don't think that I would lose sleep over it. But I think the person pulling the trigger, the person doing the injection, they probably feel that.
And
And of course, the
collectively, I
people's
think
family.
we suffer when we kill, like as a society. Like if there's multiple deaths going on all across the country that are like we've decided is legal, it's like abortion. You want to like look at abortion, anything. If you're just killing people, I do think there's some kind of unseen consequences to that on this greater society, you know.
Yeah, but
So
that's like, no, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. But that's like if it was like we were putting people to death every day, which just does not happen.
no, just
Maybe
abortion.
it should, but I don't know. Yeah, literally. Yeah. well, on that note,
Just the lightest, most jovial podcast in the whole wide world over here. Again, what are we even doing here, man? What is this? I tried to make this about curses, and we're just like whoop to do off into no man's
hey,
land.
that's what you
I
want
didn't
to
have a
talk
strong
about today.
theme, anyways. Yeah, just kind of maybe
That's
we
what
stayed
makes us
focused
great.
on. That's what makes us fun.
One of
for
these days,
us.
we're gonna have just a funny. Yeah, we maybe we thrive a lot better when we have some guests on.
Maybe they help us stay on some kind of a topic.
Yeah, some sort of even keel.
Yeah, we got to record some of my other stuff sometime soon.
Yes, yeah. You're busy tomorrow. But yeah, okay.
All right.
Monday.
All right. Well, I got to go work now.
All right, man. Have fun. I thought it was a good one. I was definitely the
great.
procrastinator, evil procrastinator.
It was great.
Dumbass at
You're
the same
fine.
time.
Now you're like, you probably want to like bury this one because you were so wrong.
No,
about the Bible.
I like it. No, because I still don't even. I still believe what I said to an extent.
You're gonna have
All
to
right,
answer
I
to
gotta pee
Jesus for that
anyway.
one. Yeah. All right.
I will. I'll pray about
All
it.
right. Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right. Later.